All right, guys, today we're going over the best investing habits. I made a little tier list. The very bottom tier, it means you're basically going to be broke forever. You're screwed. There's no hope. Then we got, there's still a chance. So you're doing bad. Like, you're definitely not doing good, but there's still hope for your future. You know, maybe if you correct a few things, build some good habits, you know, you have hope. And then you have, you're just average. You're an average Joe. You're just very mediocre. And yeah. And then you have, you're doing pretty good. Like, you have, if you keep up the things that you're doing, you have the chance to retire early. Retire a lot earlier than 65, which is the age that most people plan on retiring. And then at the very, very top, you are basically Warren Buffett. If you keep doing these things, you are going to be rich as shit, and you're going to be able to create generational wealth for your family, your kids, all of that kind of stuff. So starting off, we got that one person who saves all their money and invests nothing. If you invest nothing, like literally $0, then you're going to be broke forever. Because assuming that you still have expenses and that you still have bad spending habits, like, you're just going to be broke forever. There's no hope if you don't invest anything at all. Next up, we have trying to time the market. If you continuously and consistently try to time the market, you're going to convince yourself that you're a genius. You're going to convince yourself you're the next Elon Musk and you know what you're doing, but it's not going to work because time in the market always beats time in the market. Anybody that you've ever known who thinks they know how to time the market and is genuinely that delusional, they're going to be broke forever. Next up, we have, you know, following these scam fucking internet gurus like Andrew Tate and signing up for courses and classes that you don't really need, that's just sucking up all your money like Hustlers University. If you fall for this type of stuff, guys, and you genuinely believe it and you're giving these people your money, you are going to be broke forever. Because there's so many valuable resources on YouTube, on Google, whatever, that's completely free that you can use and, you know, listen to. This is not the way. If you like keep doing this shit, you're cooked. Next up, and this is a big one, but if you listen to some spiritual shit or some horoscopes or zodiac signs and you somehow, you know, invest on that or invest just based off some random internal gut feelings, you're going to be broke forever because that makes no sense at all, simply. Next up, if you don't pay your taxes or you don't set aside money for your taxes and you don't even know what taxes are, you don't even understand the concept of taxes, you're screwed. You're going to be broke forever because odds are you might be saving money, you might be spending money, whatever, but if you don't pay your taxes, the IRS at some point is going to come after you, and that's money that you owe to the government. The government is the last people that you want to owe stuff to because then they'll start coming after your car, your house, you know, it's going to ruin your life. Next up, we have that one motherfucker who got a job at Walmart or whatever when he turned 16 and he just bought a Hellcat. If you buy a Hellcat, or in general, if you just buy a car that's ridiculously unreliable, unsafe, just because you want to be fast and cool but you're broke and you can't afford it, you're going to be broke forever. That's the mindset so many broke people have, getting materialistic things to try to show off to their neighbors, you know, keeping up with the Joneses, trying to look cool, when in reality, you're going to be a slave to that car for the rest of your life. And there's just no hope for you if you continue to do that. Next up, we have, you know, buying into meme stocks based on like the hype and stuff. And I would put this basically, and honestly, there's still a chance if you do this, if you partake in this a little bit and you don't put in that much money, it's okay, because some of your money, you know, especially if you're young, you can afford to risk some of it, but just be very careful because you need to toe a fine line when it comes to, you know, meme stocks, whether it's, you know, meme coins, altcoins. You need to be careful with all that stuff because there's a lot of information out there and it's very risky. If you choose to listen to the wrong person, you're going to lose a bunch of money. And even if you choose to listen to the right person, you're still probably going to lose a bunch of money. So just don't get too convinced by what you see online when it comes to meme stocks and stuff. Next up, we have listening to TikTok. If you listen to TikTok for investing advice, especially from people who are uncredible, just random TikTokers, you're cooked. Like, that's the terrible way to do. You're going to end up buying a bunch of... That's essentially the same thing as trying to time the market. Because all these TikTokers, they think they know what they're talking about. They have these speculation videos. and it's just too risky and unreliable. So that's definitely a D tier option, but there's still a chance for you. You know, there's still time to recover. And now we have saving no money. If you invest all of your money, then, I mean, I kind of get it in a way. I get the benefit of investing all your money because some people treat their investing accounts as their savings. And if there was an emergency or whatever, they would just sell some money. But that's not really that doesn't provide much safety or security because that money is hard to access to. You have to pay taxes when you do sell that amount in the case of an emergency. So if you have no savings at all or very, very little savings, that's not good at all. There's still a chance for you. You can build up savings. You can build up an emergency fund. But if you have zero, then it's not very good at all. Now we have trying to time the market. Like I mentioned before, if you try to time the market, it's never going to work out. You know, sometimes you might get lucky and, you know, it might work out temporarily and then you're going to convince yourself you're a genius. But then 9 times out of 10, it's not going to work out and you're going to end up losing money. And then when that happens, you're just going to convince yourself, oh, I got unlucky, or some type of circumstance happened that was out of my control. But it's your fault, and this is a terrible mindset to have, trying to consistently time the market. This only works for 1% of the people, and I promise you it's not going to be you. So trying to time the market is definitely a D tier habit. Next up, we have investing out of emotions. And this is something that the average Joe does. You know, they invest off emotions. If they're feeling really good and happy, they're more likely to invest more. If they're feeling really depressed and sad and they hate their job, they're probably not going to invest as much and they're going to be more risk adverse. Next up, we have cryptocurrency. This one's kind of controversial. And by this, I just mean all cryptocurrency. I know it's a very general, broad market, but me personally, I think investing in cryptocurrency is just something that the average Joe does. I personally don't like it because of the unpredictability and volatility. I prefer something much more safe, like the S&P 500. But I think it's basically like a mid-tier average Joe kind of investing habit. Next up, we have trying to buy individual blue chip stocks. And this is also something that the average Joe does. And while this can potentially work out good, if you put all of your money into only big blue chip companies, then it's too volatile. You know, let's say you have 3 companies in your portfolio. You have Apple, Tesla, and Google. If one of those companies do really, really bad 1 year or temporarily, it's going to bring down the whole value of your portfolio. It's too dependent on, you know, 3 different companies. You need more diversity and you need less allocation to each diversity. If you put all of your stuff in these big companies, it's too much unpredictability. You never know what could happen. Next up, we have reading investing books such as Rich Dad, Poor Dad. There's also How to Win Friends and Influence People. There's a lot of, you know, self-investment and financing books and self-improvement books out there that can definitely speed up your journey to financial success. Rich Dad, Poor Dad is a perfect example. It completely changed my mindset on money. And I would say this is like an A tier. So if you read a lot of books and you actually take notes on them and implement some of the practices into your everyday life, I think that will set you up on the path to retire early. Next up, we have driving a beater car. I know this picture looks crazy, and I'm not expecting anyone to actually drive something that looks like this, but driving a beater car is gonna lead you on the path to retire early. Driving cars are automatically depreciating assets, right? You drive them, you put miles on them, value goes down. Not only does the value go down based on mileage and time of ownership, but guess what? Cars cost more money for maintenance, oil changes, control arm, ball joints, engine mounts, whatever. It costs more money to repair them. And then they also take up gas and also insurance. So all these different costs, cars require so much money to be put into them, but they lose so much value over time. It's not a good investment. Driving a beater car is the best thing you can do because it means no car payment, which is one of the biggest things keeping Americans broke. No car payment, you know. You don't got to worry too much about repairs. And even if you do, the repairs are going to be cheaper than getting a new car. And you'll have cheap insurance too. Next up, we have budgeting. Budgeting is an essential habit to have in order to becoming rich. So I would be that S tier. Because if you budget your money properly, you know exactly what's going in, exactly what's going out every month. And, you basically have full control over your money. Next up, we have maxing out your Roth IRA. I would put this at S tier. But in reality, this is kind of the bare minimum you should do when it comes to investing. After you have a 6-month emergency fund, the next thing you should do is max out your Roth IRA. And when it comes to investing, that should be the bare minimum. Once you fully max out your Roth IRA, we can start talking about different options. Next up, we have dollar cost averaging, also known as DCA. And this is an S tier investing strategy because it basically takes emotion completely out of it and it helps you automate your investments. So what dollar cost averaging is like, let's say I can set it up so, every single week on Friday at 2 p.m., I'm going to automatically buy $8 of the S&P 500. And I can set that up automatically reoccurring. I can do it every day. I can do it every week. I can do it every month. But no matter what, once I set that up, it's going to do it no matter what without me even having to think about it. I can forget about it. And it's just going on in the background automatically, which is good. Next up, we have DRIP, which basically means that you're automatically reinvesting your dividends, which is an S tier strategy because this is one of the big factors that leads to compound growth. When you hear people talk about the S&P 500, VOO, and all of these different mutual funds that track the S&P 500, DRIP is a major factor because not only is it growing 7 to 10% every single year, but you're reinvesting the dividends that you get back into it to help compound that interest over time. This is an essential key factor to achieve true financial success. Next up, we have investing for the long term. This is clearly an S tier strategy because unlike investing for the short term, you're allowing yourself to generate wealth slowly over time. It's much more reliable, predictable, and much more realistic. In this day and age, all of us are trying to get rich so quick. We're trying to, make a short-term flip. We're trying to time to buy and sell so that we can get profit. We're trying to options trade. We're trying to trade penny stocks. We're trying to do all of these things. But in reality, if you just invest for the long term and look out in the next 30 to 40 years, look at that data, then it's super predictable and almost guaranteed to a certain extent compared to investing in the short term. Like in long-term investing eliminates so much risk and has so much predictability to it that, all of these big millionaires that you talk about and that you hear, like Warren Buffett, invested long-term. He started investing when he was 16 years old. Even if he didn't become, this big CEO, he still would have been extremely wealthy by the time he retired because he was investing for the long term and he started at a young age. Next up, we have tax advantage accounts. This is also an S tier habit because tax advantage accounts give you advantages. So let me give some examples. There's a, HSA, which is a health savings account. That one has triple tax advantage. Let's say the Roth IRA, that one's tax advantage because you pay taxes now, but when you take out your money, when you're getting that millions and millions of dollars that you saved up that it grew over time when you're 65, guess what? Completely tax-free. So that's a huge advantage. Other tax advantage accounts, retirement plans, you might have a traditional 401k with an employer match. That's tax advantage because you don't pay taxes on the money now. It just goes straight from your paycheck, but you pay taxes later. Either way, it's still a tax advantage. So the first thing you should do is max out those tax advantage accounts. And that's going to take a while because, maybe for the Roth IRA over here, it's only $7,000 a year max, which might not be that hard to hit. But odds are that your company retirement is going to have a much, much higher max contribution, probably around $24,000. And that's a lot of money to invest every single year on a salary job in this job market. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much it for the tier list. I'm sure I missed a bunch of different potential habits that I could have ranked. If you guys want to think of more, you could leave them in the comments and I can make a new video. But this is kind of the whole landscape of all the investing habits that I could think of. And, obviously some of these are situational, But overall, I think this is a pretty accurate, good way of looking at all these habits. And, just make sure if there's anything that you can take away from this video, look at like the top 2 tiers. Go back to the video and see what I talked about the habits, and kind of start to implement some of them into your life, because a little goes a long way with these, and they will definitely help you on your journey to financial success.